Well, as I said, I've finished off the beach. Just a couple of small things now to work on. I've got this burnt umber titanium white mix, and now I've mixed up basically a titanium white, although there was a little bit of colour in my liquid, so that's just taken it off from being a pure white. And I am, just for the purpose of try to just generally block things in. As you can see, I've got a phthalo green coverage and also some burnt umber coming through that I can, I'll just grab myself a slightly stiffer brush. So you could use one of your brushes, of course, but just on this shoreline, as you can see in the reference photo, it goes a little bit darker here. It actually goes a bluey colour, but we'll put that in later in detail. I think it's a little bit tricky to try for now. So I'm just going to make it a little bit darker. You see some dark browns are coming through there where the sand is getting picked up by the wave. But this is a slightly darker colour. So how I'll approximate that is I put my mix down for the ocean, and then I'll just, with a bit of a scrubbing type action with a brush, I'll just pick up some paint and just create that shoreline. So I'm picking up paint and then wiping it off, just to sort of let that brown come through. It's not exactly the colour that I want. It'll be more of a blue, but it's just showing me where I'm going to put that blue, and it tonally is right. It's darker on this edge. Yeah, so I'd suggest you just put in something like that. And generally, I'm trying to keep my brush strokes horizontal so that I am clearly indicating that this is a flat beach. Right, so what I'll do now is I've got a little bit of white here that I've mixed up, titanium white, and of course liquid, which I always have to put in. And here's my sort of reference. So I'm just going to put in some of these waves. I'm not going to try and do the lot, but I want to create a difference between the whiteness of the wave and the more slightly off-white nature of the beach sand. So I'm just putting some in there, very carefully staying with a horizontal brush stroke. This is not a detail stage, this is just a block-in stage. There are some waves a little bit further out, you can see them here. So, and I have got that line there, so I will just sort of put in something there. Just putting little suggestive marks along there, not putting in too much. And then I'll continue on with some waves there along the shoreline. So let's take this through to the end. Okay, so we've got quite a bit of activity going on here. And if I use my brush, which if you've got a brush, I know I've only given you two, but one that's a dry brush, you can just sort of scrape this out a bit and fade it in a bit. Maybe you've got another old dodgy paintbrush at home, which you could use for this purpose. And you can see there, I'm just sort of increasing the realism of that, I believe. That's what I think. Anyway. Hey, that looks all right. That looks all right. So you see what I've done? I scrub that back, and I'll put some blue in there eventually. So I'd scrub that with the dry brush, which is sort of full of paint at the moment, so I'll get rid of that. I can see there's some marks there that I want to be more horizontal, so I'll just sort of come in and tidy them up. Very important, yeah, that you know how it was with the waves. You really need the shape of your brush strokes, the angle of the brush strokes are really important. Okay, so how did I get that? I scrubbed this back and revealed the burnt umber. That will be in turn converted to a blue. Then I started to fill this in with more white. And then, so I dab white along the edge. And then I've just pulled it back with a dry brush. And that's given me that transition from the breaking wave. And look, pretty happy with that. So I'll leave that and I'll count that as all blocked in. I said I was going to do this. I think I might do that in another video because there's plenty in what we've just done there with the shore. So I'll probably call that video the shoreline.